And welcome to Living Above the Rim with the Charlotte Bobcats on a matinee day here at Time Warner Arena. I'm the coach, Dick Cox, joined by Dustin Phifer. I thought the 2 o'clock start today was going to be the key. Bobcats actually got off to a good start today, led for up until the fourth quarter. And then, Dustin, so we've seen it happen over and over again. Fourth quarter, the game slips away.
Yeah, I mean, this time, like you said, a 2 o'clock start. The trouble has been slow starts for the Bobcats and then trying to battle back where they jump out to a double-digit lead in the first quarter, hold that lead, like you said, all the way to the fourth quarter, playing good basketball, up double digits at the half. I mean, really moving the ball on offense, playing some good help defense on the defensive side of the ball. So they were doing good things. It looked like they could break this home losing streak, which is up to 15 games now after today's loss. But like you said, late in the fourth quarter, when it's time to execute and time to get those wins, we've talked about this on prior shows. A lot of NBA games are going to be close coming down the stretch. It's all about execution. And for the second straight game, it didn't happen. The Bobcats struggled to get buckets, struggled to run plays on offense. And then on the defensive end, they let the Rockets get to the foul line too much. James Harden goes to the line 21 times. And so that was the difference in the fourth quarter, is the Rockets getting the bonus early. So just a bunch of things not going their way in the fourth quarter. And once again, we're standing here looking at another loss at home.
Well, you mentioned James Harden. He finished with 29 points in the game, 5 out of 20 from the floor, but 19 out of 21 from the free throw line. He shot it 41 times at one time or another, though, finishes with 29 points. So, and again, that's the difference right there, that the Rockets go to the free throw line 41 times, make 32, whereas the Bobcats go 24 times. So the Rockets made 8 more free throws than the Bobcats even attempted.
Yeah, and then you look at it, I mean, Harden, that's one of the differences in this game. I mean, when you look at the two teams, yes, the Rockets probably do have a better team talent-wise. They're in the playoffs right now with the Western Conference if it would end today. But then when you look at when it comes down to close games and who needs to execute, who has the stars to make plays? Because in the NBA, it's about stars. Bobcats have an up-and-coming star, it kind of looks like, with Kemba Walker scores a career-high 35 points today. But when you really need a bucket, who can go one-on-one and get that? James Harden, he struggled from the floor, like you said, but he still didn't stop playing. Gets to the line 21 times. I mean, he has 29 points. He throws 7 assists and 7 rebounds to go along. So even though he didn't shoot well, he plays a complete game. He gets to the line and helps carry his team to a win where they have lost 7 in a row, and they weren't playing good basketball. So for a star to put a team on his back like that, I mean, that's kind of what we hope to see here in the future from the Bobcats. If they can get a star or get a guy coming up maybe like a Kemba, who can keep playing like he's playing, then you can get that star to help you win games. Because right now the Bobcats don't have that one go-to guy down the stretch that can win games for them.
And again, I looked at you with about 7:55 to go in a game and said, the difference in the game is if the Bobcats can execute. Again, no execution going down the stretch. Again, we saw the Rockets come out with a great back pick, skip pass for Chandler Parsons, wide open 3 out of the corner, things like that. We don't see stuff like that from the Bobcats. We basically see them try to run a clear out isolation, but we don't see anything coming off a screen, anything as far as a set play. When you got to have a basket, again, you look right now, the Bobcats got outscored 26-13 in the fourth quarter.
Got doubled up in the fourth quarter, and that's what's gonna lose you games. You can't score 13 points in the fourth quarter and expect to win many basketball games. And you said it, you took the words right out of my mouth. Right now, when it's fourth quarter and it's late in games, the Bobcats do not have set plays that they can run where they know they're going to get a basket. Their offense in the fourth quarter, and especially it does hurt with Byron Mullins out because he probably is your third best scorer on this team, plus he's a big guy who can make a threat down low. Because right now, the Bobcats don't have a low post scoring threat, which makes it even harder for the guards who have been playing well like Kemba and Sessions to do anything late in the games because the other team is going to focus on them so much. But right now, the only plays that we run in the fourth quarter are for Kemba Walker and Ramon Sessions to go one-on-one, maybe sometimes to bring out a pick and roll, but just for them to try to create. That's what our offense is. Put the ball in their hands and see if they can create something. And sometimes they can do it. I mean, we saw Kemba with a huge game. We saw Sessions make a couple big baskets, but it's hard to sustain for a full fourth quarter, especially when the other team is going to focus all their defense on those two guys because they know that's who's going to be their scorers. And so tonight, the Rockets, what do? They adjust in the fourth quarter. They trap Kemba more after he scores a career high. They trap Ramon Sessions. And so now who's going to step up? Ben Gordon had an off night. He only played 8 minutes, couldn't score anything. Your bigs aren't doing anything. We've seen Warwick late in games. Last game turned the ball over. So then it makes it difficult who's going to score, and that's what happened. 13 points, and you're looking at a loss.
Well, again, Kevin McHale in his post-game comments said, was very complimentary of Kemba Walker in his play, and like that said that the game plan was to double him and put the ball in Biasmo's hands, put it in Warwick's hands. That's exactly what they wanted to do going down the stretch. That's what they got. And the third score for the Bobcats, people don't realize, is Gerald Henderson, who is playing really banged up right now, and it's affecting his game. Back injury, going in and out, that he is playing hurt, and he will not admit there. But it is, it's a factor in his game right now that he is basically comes out of the game. His back locked up on him the other night there, though, but will not complain. He wants to play, but he's playing banged up right now.
Hendo's a captain. I call him Hendo. Gerald Henderson. He's a captain. He's a leader. He's a guy that you like having on your team because he does bring it every night when he can. But, yes, he is banged up right now. He's dealing with the bulging disc in his back, which he's had since Duke. There's times when, most of the time it's felt good. But now it's one of those times where it's kind of locking up on him. So when he does come out of games, it stiffens up. To me, in my mind, I looked at you and told you this toward the end of the game. I don't think he should have been in there. It looks like his movement was hindered by that back issue today. It locked up on him a little bit. I think his defense was hindered a little bit because we know he's one of our better defenders. But when he's trying to guard an NBA superstar like James Harden and you have a back issue, it's tough to stay with him as he gets to the rim. That's how he gets to the foul line so much. So I think, personally, I wouldn't have had him in there. But you got to look at your second defender, Jeff Taylor. He strained his quad today in the first half. So maybe he wasn't able to go. So maybe that's why they went with Henderson instead. But, it was tough having him in there. We saw him try to attempt a three late to cut the lead to one. But he didn't have enough lift because of the back to get that three off, come up short. So they're dealing with some injuries. They're dealing with a lot of execution late. And hopefully Henderson won't have to miss any time. He says that he's getting better day to day, but we've seen it. He doesn't look too good. And with a back issue like that, you don't know how long it could linger on.
Well, just seeing him in the locker room after the game, the way he was kind of in that chair trying to ease some of the pain in his back with the ice on it right there, though, he's in a lot more pain than he's let known. And then that brings us back next to Jeffrey Taylor. Comes in, has 7 quick points off the bench, playing great, and goes down and gets hurt on a dunk, on a breakaway dunk, lands wrong and comes down. Again, having one of his better games was 7 quick points, a couple of steals early, and that hindered his play the rest of the way.
And luckily, he was able to come back, but maybe late in the game that calf, like you said, it was a calf strain. Maybe it tightened up on him a little bit, and he wasn't able to move like he wanted to. I don't think his is that serious, though. It was a freak play. You got a steal, gets a nice dunk, comes down normal, but just tweaks that calf. But hopefully he'll be okay and should be good to go for Wednesday night, because with the way Henderson's kind of banged up, they're going to want Henderson. They're going to want Taylor to probably take on more of a load, and that's fine because Taylor's kind of shown that he can do that, especially on the defensive end. So hopefully he'll be ready to go Wednesday night and he can provide them with some much-needed minutes.
Kevin McHale made the comment, too, and the smart coaching right here said that they got into bonus early and looked to spread the floor and just went into the attack mode, going to the free throw line. I don't know exactly how many free throws they attempted in the fourth quarter, though. But, again, that's the thing. When you can get points with no time going off the clock and continue, a free throw is exactly what it is. It's the only shot you're going to get in basketball that you don't have a big goon trying to slam it down your throat. You make 32 out of 41, then that's a big difference towards winning a close ball game.
You got to give credit to McHale and his coaching staff for recognizing that. And a lot of teams will get in the bonus down the stretch, but they don't take advantage of it here. And you got to give James Harden credit for this as well, because he led the way. But you see your team struggling. They're not shooting well. They end up shooting under 40% from the floor. That's not going to win you too many games. But when you can counteract that and get to the line, especially when you get in the bonus that early, that's going to help you keep you in games and help you win ball games. And the Rockets did a very nice job of recognizing that. Once they were in the bonus, they didn't settle for jump shots unless they were wide open threes, and they were able to attack and get to the basket, and were able to knock down free throws that helped them lead them to a win.
Again, you got to wonder now, too, that if this thing's not becoming a mental thing right now with the Bobcats. They've been there so many times with a lead in the fourth quarter, and it's almost like you go into that last 7 minutes of the game, it's almost like a find a way to lose mode.
Yeah, you definitely have to think it's going through their mind a little bit, especially when you look at these last 2 games where you had a lead, but then you let both of them slip away, both of them at home, and not just the mental stuff on the execution late. This home losing streak's got to be getting to the players and the coaching staff now. They know the fans want to see a win here, and they're frustrated. 15 straight home losses now, and there's been a lot of games in that stretch that they had a chance to win here at Time Warner Cable Arena, so that's got to be frustrating. So hopefully They go back to practice tomorrow. They can keep working and make some adjustments for these late game situations and work on them, and hopefully come out Wednesday and break this streak against the Atlanta Hawks.
Let's give the fans credit because it's a matinee game, 2 o'clock tip-off today. 16,108 was the paid attendance today, though. Nice turnout for an afternoon basketball game, though. The fans are still sticking with them, though, but like you said, there comes a time when you got to reward your fans and find a way to pick up a win in one of these close games.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 good crowds in a row. You have the Kings coming to town on Saturday night, who aren't the biggest draw in the NBA, but on a Saturday night, fans come out. I think they had close to 17,000 here, so a good crowd there and a good crowd here on Monday. So it's good to see the fans still sticking with them. And these games today, even though it's a loss, don't hurt as bad as, you know, the blowouts that we've seen in the past. We at least saw that the Bobcats, these last 2 games, you admitted in the last post game I wasn't here, but they've been playing hard. They've been playing with energy. That first half they played against the Rockets today was one of the better ones of the year. They were moving the ball on offense. They were helping out on defense. Got to give a shout out to Bismack Biyombo having 7 blocks today. He really was a good defender down in the paint. So these guys are playing hard. So these are the kind of losses that I said earlier in the year that I can live with because those guys are playing hard. Now, am I frustrated? Absolutely, because I think not only Saturday but today are 2 games that they should have won the way they played, and the execution definitely has to improve. But at least the fans can see them fighting hard, unlike a week ago when we came and saw them against the Indiana Pacers here at the Cable Box, and they laid an egg. I mean, basically fans couldn't even stay till the end of the 3rd quarter on that one. Bobcats were down 30 and looked awful. So I see some improvement there, but like you said, this execution late in games has to change because that's where you're going to win most of your games in the NBA. Bobcats are never going to blow anybody out. If they're going to get wins, they're going to be all close games. We saw that even when they started 7-5. So they've got to find a way to execute late in games if they want to get some wins.
Again, looking at the scoring, Kimball Walker with a career-high 35, 19 for Sessions, 10 for Warwick, 9 for Kid Gilchrist, 8 for Gerald Henderson playing injured, 7 for Jeffrey Taylor. All those were in the first quarter. And, again, you know, it drops off from there, though. So, again, I think everybody that played scored today except for Tyrus Thomas and, Ben Gordon did not score.
Ben Gordon did not score, and, you know, that's tough for this team because he is one of those guys where you need his production off the bench, but had a bad game, only played 8 minutes, so it's definitely tough. But I want to go back to Kimball Walker. I mean, this career-high 35 points on 12 of 21 shooting, so well over 50%. And then you got to look at his three-point shooting. That guy could not make any three-pointers last year in his first year rookie season. He works all through the offseason on his shooting, comes back, and he's 6 of 7 from three-point line today. I mean, that's remarkable. If he can knock down that outside shot, it opens up what his strong point is, which is attacking the lane and getting baskets. So career-high 35, we're only seeing Kimba getting better. If we can get him to find some help around him, Sessions has been good, but like Dunlap said in his post-game conference, he made a good point. It's going to take more than 2 guys. You got to have either that third scorer or you got to have 2 more guys that come off the bench that can give you production in the scoring. But that's what Byron Mullins did when he was in there. Now he's been out a while and they missed that. So you can't just rely on Kimba and Sessions the whole time. But Kimba's game is going to a whole nother level, and I love what I'm seeing.
Well, hopefully we had the opportunity of seeing Byron Mullins walking down the hall with 2 matching shoes. He's not wearing a boot anymore, and made the comment that he's probably a couple of weeks away from making it back, though. In the meantime, he's grown a beard now, though. It makes him look a little heavier and a little bit bigger now, though. But it's a good sign to see that he's not in the boot anymore.
It's a good sign to see. The Bobcats desperately need him. Will they be a dramatically better team with him? Probably not, but will they be better? Absolutely, because he is really your only – not only can he step out and shoot that shot, but he's really your only legit low-post scoring threat. You can throw it to him down in the post. He can hit a nice little turnaround jump shot. So it's definitely something that you need to have, and he can kind of open it up for Kimba and Sessions even more. If you can throw it down to him in the post and he's able to kick it back out to the guards, that'll be a good thing. Plus he brings, like you said, toughness on the inside with the rebounding. So hopefully when he gets back, this team's offense will improve and defense will improve, and you'll see a little bit different team.
You are watching Living Above the Rim with the Charlotte Bobcats. I'm the coach, Dick Cox, joined by Dustin Phifer. Our show is brought to you by Fats on Highway 9 in Bowling Springs, by the Beacon Drive-In, by the West Side Club, by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, by Larry's Trophies, and Concoction Ministries. Again, we appreciate the opportunity to bring you these shows right now. I want to get a special plug in West Side Club right now. Go by and see Myra. She'll get you plugged into the exercise classes. All of you that have set your New Year's resolutions, need to get in the gym. I've been trying to work extra time in the gym right there, though. But they've got special deals, special promotions. Go by and see our friends at the West Side Club. All right, next game comes up. They've got 3 home games this week. They've got the Atlanta Hawks. And, again, this is a team that seems like they play every week. They have not beat them this year, though. What do you see being a key? What's going to get them over the hump and trying to break this 15-game home losing streak and finally get the Hawks off their back with a win?
Well, like you said, you got 2 games, the Hawks on Wednesday and the T-Wolves on Saturday. I'm going to go ahead. I've been totally wrong on record before on here, but I'm going to go ahead. I keep making predictions. That's what we do. I do predict that one of those will be a win. This home streak will come to an end. I think that they are playing decent basketball right now. It's just the late game situations they need to correct, and sooner or later they'll get something right. So I do think one of those are going to be which one. I think both of these games are going to be close, and I do see both of them being winnable, not just one. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. The Hawks are always a tough matchup for the Bobcats. Josh Smith, an all-star, always gives us problems down low. And then Jeff Teague's a good point guard who's coming along in his young growth. I mean, he came into the league and he couldn't shoot either. Has a 28-point, 11-assist night the other night against the Brooklyn Nets. So he's definitely coming along. The Hawks did lose one of their key players for the year, Lou Williams, one of their better scoring guards, tore his ACL. He's out for the year. So that's a big loss for them. So they're coming in kind of banged up, not playing the greatest of basketball right now. So it's an opportunity for the Bobcats to get a win in front of the home crowd. Let's hope they can do it. They just got to have a concerted effort by everybody. You know, if Kemba comes out and he's scoring well, Sessions is scoring well, it's got to be a complete team effort. Somebody else has got to get some points out there and help them out, so hopefully they can do that Wednesday night.
Well, Wednesday night is fun night at Bobcat Games with all the special things, T-shirts, popcorn, beer, and all the things that they have fun. They put on a good show on Wednesday night. Want to encourage you to come out and see the Bobcats and the Hawks here at the Cable Box on Wednesday night. We'll be here to bring you the post-game report. So if you cannot make the game, make sure you tune in to Facebook and the different outlets that we're in right now, though, and we will be here to give you a wrap-up. Hopefully we'll have a good report for you after the ball game. Final thoughts on today and the games this week?
Final thoughts, just another tough loss. But like I said, I do like what I've seen from the team the last couple games, including Saturday night. You even said in the post game that this team's playing a little harder, playing with more energy, and starting to play some complete games. I mean, I know they didn't really play a complete game down the stretch these last couple games, but they're right there. They've led in every game and both of those games, and they've had chances to win. So I like seeing that. I like seeing that this team is still fighting hard. Hey, today this only marks halfway through the season. There's another whole half of a season of basketball to go. So there is still plenty of time for the Bobcats to learn from these mistakes that we talked about and get some things turned around, and maybe we can put a little winning streak together.
Some concerns I had on my final thoughts was the players' roles. I think they're starting to develop roles a little bit more now. It's just coming to the point where you got to step up and make plays. I like what I'm seeing now where they're starting to settle in some roles, of lineups, rotations, and all, and I think that's been an area of improvement in Coach Dunlap's coaching and some things right there that I was concerned with earlier, though. It's just now that these guys have got to step up and make a play when they get a chance.
Totally agree. I do think that we complained about the rotations, but I think he's found a pretty good rotation. As you can see, I mean, that they've led most of these games here lately. After winning in Orlando, they come back home and lead most of the game against Sacramento, lead most of the game against the Rockets. So he has got a nice little rotation working, and I agree with you 100%. It's up for the players to go out there and execute now. The coaches can draw up some stuff, they can try some stuff, but the players got to go out there and execute on the floor. So let's see if they can do that on Wednesday night.
Again, not the kind of report that we want to give you. Your final score today were the Houston Rockets with their red glare. 100 points, the Charlotte Bobcats 94. For Dustin Phifer, I'm the coach Dick Cox. Hoping you have a happy Martin Luther King Day and Inauguration Day. We'll be back with you Wednesday for Living Above the Rim with the Charlotte Bobcats.